Welcome back to another episode of the Community Collective. I am Johnny B. Good, the flip-flop agent. And man, I'm excited today. We are in my office / podcast studio / bat cave, I guess. But we got 4 of us crammed in here. But before we get to our 2 extra special, very important guests, I want to welcome Travis.
Oh, I almost need a name tag because I don't think we've been together in forever. So yes,
I mean, between doing things on Zoom and everything else, my schedule, your schedule, I love the fact that at least today we're back in the saddle again, where we're both here and we're excited to talk to a couple of guests.
It's just making eye contact with you that's important here.
And I've missed my bestie. He's been so busy. My little ginger prince is off there running for every political office he can find, which is fine with me, I guess. He's going to abandon me, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, no, I can never abandon you.
We'll make our way. Well, today I'm super excited to have doctors, right? Doctors?
You are correct.
There you go. Doctors Rachel and Vinnie from A&E Dental. Is it A&E like the TV or just AE Dental?
Just AE Dental.
AE Dental. Absolutely excellent.
Well, they're actually, the name is inspired by our 2 daughters, Aviana and Eslyn. So that's
that's way more beautiful.
I love
Absolutely.
this. Yes,
Excellent.
this is a lot better story now.
That's great. And I like it too, because it's old school marketing. You're at the top of the list when people search for dentists, if the list is ordered alphabetically. So that's good. That's good thinking.
Never
we
thought
named
of
her
that,
smartly and we didn't even know.
Exactly. I mean, it scratched that little itch when I'm like, because I'm old enough to be remembering phone books.
Us too.
And stuff like that. So it's like, oh yeah, let's look in the yellow pages for dentists. Now you guys are at the forefront.
There we go. We just got to bring back those phone books.
I love it. I absolutely.
We're all set, right?
Bring back the phone books.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, we're going to have a conversation, and because we're in office today, we're going to go a little bit more long form, just a little bit of back and forth, but feel free if you guys want to jump in with any other questions or comments or questions for us. We want it to be a dialogue, not just an interview. And we gave you the questions. This isn't gotcha journalism. We're not going to try to hijack you guys and, what happened back in college back then? What did you guys, what was that all about? We're not going to do any of that. We're just going to have some fun today.
When I did notice, Johnny, you didn't make a note on here that you were going to brush and floss today. So
I did brush and floss
that's
today.
good. So you were ready. You were ready for this. I'm just checking.
I mean, I feel like you guys are always judging. I mean, as dentists, when I'm in real estate, I go and look at people's houses. I'm absolutely judging.
I mean, obviously teeth are something that's important to us that stands out. But I think that's just with anybody. You see if somebody smiles, you see somebody that's got good teeth, that also obviously most of the time transcends to their overall health and, their overall, caring about themselves, their own self-esteem and, overall health. So.
Yeah.
I dig it. I don't know how you guys, and we'll get into the questions here. I guess I'm just rambling a little bit, too much coffee this morning, but old school, like dental floss, wrapping it around your fingers. I don't have a very large mouth. I'm very loud, but I don't have a very large mouth. So I'm like, man, I always felt like the Joker, like my mouth, I'm going to start bleeding at the corner of my lips. But now they have like the little plastic picks. That's where I'm at. That's my action.
Any little bit is better than nothing.
That's right. Exactly. So, all right, let's actually jump into the questions here. We'll get into some reasonable content.
We'll get down to business now.
Yeah,
all
instead of my ramblings, I apologize. So as co-owners, a husband and wife dynamic duo, what is your philosophy on dental care? We talked about that a little bit because you're always looking at people's teeth.
Right.
Dr. Vinnie looks at you and you smile. He's going to make a little judgment call. Just kidding. But how do you strive to make dental visits and just going to the dentist an overall positive experience for, your patients of any age, from being kids all the way to adults and seniors?
Sure.
I'll start. I really like to try and treat all my patients as if they were, family and friends.
Sure.
And sometimes that's giving an honest opinion when it's not really what the patient wants to hear. I have a hard time sleeping at night if I don't do what I would do for, what I would want for myself or what I would want for my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, any person in my family. I try to hold myself to a high standard and make sure I'm doing good dentistry every time I'm actually working on a patient.
Right.
And I don't know, we just like to try to create like a welcoming atmosphere for every patient. We don't want anybody to feel judged or like they don't belong. We're open for everybody, all patients, all ages, all oral health conditions. It doesn't really matter to us. We're here to help you.
Right.
When I feel like like any other medical office, you have to be honest with someone because you care and you want them to be healthy. And I mean, sometimes it's going to be something simple, sometimes not. So, I mean, I think that part, you guys, we go to AE Dental, our family does, and we've always felt welcome. And we've had our kids go through their fair share of interesting teeth experiences. But it is, Rachel, I feel like you're exactly right. It has to be something where you need to be honest, but you're showing that you care about those patients because you want them to be healthy.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it's the hard truth
right,
in the dental
right.
chair. Sometimes it's not all, sunshine and roses. Like, oh, your teeth look great.
mean,
have a nice day.
yeah,
See you in 6 months.
The response is, I'm not the one that didn't brush my teeth very good for the last 6 months. I'm the one telling you, like, if you do another 6 months, we're really going to be in trouble, right?
Right.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. How about you? How about you, Vinnie?
I mean, Travis kind of said the perfect word, honest. Be open, honest, and I always try to be very transparent. And transparent meaning, not just take the time to explain to your patients why they actually need this. Growing up, I always had doctors come in, and I think most people usually get doctors that come in and just say, "Hey, you need this," and they don't tell you why or they don't show you why. So, transparency is not just explaining and being honest. It's also about, we always go through the x-rays. We sit down with the new patients and say, hey, I'm going to go walk you through these x-rays so that way you can see what I see.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when there's things that needs to be done, we're always on the same page.
Right.
And trying to always remember that every patient is different. Every patient has different needs, expectations, financial limitations or not. So I always try to give them, all of their options, regardless of age or, what kind of socioeconomic status they're in. And try to inform them and give them the most information so that way they can make the best decision that they see is best for them. And again, it's based on everybody's different,
Sure.
Every tooth's different, every case is different, every fear or, most of the time fear coming to the dentist,
Right.
I mean, and I think that's, trying to make it a positive experience is obviously not just being warm and welcoming, but I think empathetic.
Sure.
Have empathy for some people that, they had never been to the dentist before, or, there's the older, baby boomer generation where they sought dental care when it was, we're just taking the tooth out,
Right.
or we're in pain.
Right.
So
where's the pliers?
Right. Exactly. So, I think that's kind of what we try to, strive to always, have in our practice. So that way a patient doesn't leave the office feeling confused, like why do I need this? Or, what's going
happened
on?
Factor.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I've realized, and this is probably through the advent of all these TikTok videos and everything else, and people doing more explaining in like short form methodology, but they talk a lot about how oral health really ties into so much more of your overall physical health than what we really realized back, 20, 30 years ago, even. Is that the case? Are you guys finding that to be evident?
Oral health definitely plays a part of whole body health. They've linked periodontal disease, gum disease to heart problems in low birth weight babies, preterm babies during pregnancy. So there definitely is a full body link. And, eating is such a huge important factor that you take for granted every day. I think a lot of people really do take it for granted. I know I do. I had a patient tell me once that he said, he was in dentures.
Mhm.
So he said, I really wish that I had just taken care of my teeth better. And he said,
Right.
looking back at it, it's really easy to brush and floss your teeth every day. It's really hard to eat a steak with dentures or a salad with dentures. He
Mhm.
said, so hindsight, is 2020. I really wish I could go back and just do a couple little things every day to maintain my teeth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I always look at it and view it as, opening your mouth is the first gateway for us to see inside your body, and so, and that's where it starts, it kind of depends on what you put in your body, but also, you got to have the teeth, like Rachel said, to chew it. You got to have
Right.
the capability to be able to still eat and live a normal, comfortable life, because unfortunately, with patients that are in dentures or, they're on the, older end of the age spectrum,
Sure.
you usually see when patients have to go to dentures, that's kind of when just their
Things can really
them
decline.
thriving, right? Them actually thriving, that
Wow.
kind of starts to decline because they can't eat as well. Or, you're trying to take somebody in their 80s or 90s and move them into a denture. That's never going to work,
Right.
And so, And so there's times where, again, every case, every person's different, I mean, some people would probably say, oh, you need to do this and that. But it's like, well, think outside the box, step back. How would
Right.
you feel, moving your, or even yourself, you've known how to chew like this. And now they're going to try to, change you to do something totally different that, I mean, sometimes I see patients get frustrated, things like that. So yeah, I mean, and going back to kind of linking it to full body health, that is something that before it was always left up to, the medical doctors, the MDs, not so much dentists. But I know that even when we were in school, they've been bringing in and linking the two together, making sure. I mean, even one of our professors, she actually taught at Wayne State Medical School. So it was, trying to link us all together and saying, hey, a dentist, I mean, how often does your doctor pull out your tongue and look for oral cancer,
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
things like that. And that's come with just the evolution of education, in terms of patient education, in terms of what they're teaching in dental schools. So overall, it plays a huge impact, like I said, it's the start of everything going into your body, and exactly,
Right.
it's all a system.
And what I think too, I mean, you mentioned dentures a lot, but I know, I mean, for myself growing up, I had braces. I have actually, it's really funny. My kids used to freak out a little bit. It's like, I have 2 fake teeth, guys, because I had to get dental implants
Okay.
just because I didn't have like adult teeth.
Right.
And so going through all that, but it was a whole different style of really, it probably explained to my parents, but didn't explain to me as much what was going on. I was like, hey, we're going to go and do this. Where I think nowadays, my daughter who has braces, everything was explained to her too, and made sure she understood when she was going to her orthodontist, and make sure she was good with it and comfortable with things. And I think that's where you talk about the amount of education and interaction you guys were having in different areas, especially when you went to college with it and dental school. I think that's beneficial now. I mean, look at my kids, like so much was left out, I think, when I was younger.
Sure.
And explained, and now it is. And I think that really shows, and that changes a lifestyle right there. I mean, you get braces, her whole life changed for the first few months and getting used to it, and then they get tightened. So it is. So every level of it,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
I had one of everything braces wise growing up. I had all sorts of orthodontic treatment, and it really wasn't explained well to me either. And I feel like there's a really big misconception with orthodontic treatment and braces. I think a lot of people think it's really truly just for aesthetics, and it's not. It's really for better function. The reason why somebody is deemed to need orthodontic treatment is function. That's the true meaning behind it. They want to get you in better function so you can chew and eat your food better. The aesthetics are just like an extra, bonus that comes along with it. Yeah, you have nice, pretty, straight teeth, but the whole goal of it is to get you into better occlusion, which is the chewing, pattern of your teeth. So better function for you is the goal of it.
Well, and I think that's a good transition. You talk about all this education you guys received and interaction, but I'm sure in that time period too, the technology changes and innovations have really influenced the dental industry. So can you both kind of fill us in on some maybe significant like technological advancements in recent years, and how have these technologies and treatments have you guys incorporated into your all's practice?
I think the biggest change in dentistry as of recent years has been digital x-rays, digital radiographs. Has been such a huge change for dentistry. It benefits the patient. It's significantly less radiation per each, time you expose an x-ray. And for us, it's great. It's instantaneous results. There's a couple different ways to go about digital x-rays, but most people are using a sensor that's attached directly, via a USB cable to your computer. So as soon as you process hit the radiation, hit the button, zap, instantly you get a picture
So
on the
much
screen.
faster.
It's so much faster.
So much faster. I love that.
Yeah. And it's also a lot better because it's so much less radiation for the patients.
Yeah, I mean, don't quote me on this, but you always read the tidbits, and you always have patients that, they will compare it to, a big X-ray, like an MRI or something like that. When, I think the number is somewhere between 80 and 90% less radiation in a dental film compared to the old school, films, in the digital era. So, I mean, then you have to also think about not just that aspect, because I know it's an important thing. Patients are concerned with, the amount of radiation. I mean, it's all around us, sitting around here in this room,
Yes.
but it also, you got to think about the patients that are gaggers and things like that. It's a smaller sensor.
me.
It's there you go. So, I mean, obviously, somebody's always going to have a little bit smaller of a mouth, and it's still going to pose a challenge, but it's better than taking the x-ray, taking 10 minutes to develop it, looking at it and say, oh, we got to do it again.
Yeah.
So it's also just less chair time, and just more efficient all around. And I think most offices have moved to that.
Most have.
But
there are still
believe
some
it or
out there.
not, there's still some out there that when we get new patients that come to see us and it's like, oh, I brought my old x-rays, and they're bringing these old ones, and they're not even, you're holding them up to a light. I mean, you're literally, and I mean, my fear is like, how diagnostic is that?
Not very,
and
I would guess. But.
yeah, and so that's why sometimes patients that come to us, and even if they're not due for an x-ray or their insurance won't pay for it, with digital, we're not spending, we don't have a lot of overhead with it. It's a sensor, it's a computer, it's a server, so that allows us to a lot of times get x-rays on patients that aren't due, but it allows us to do it and easily just kind of, say this is on the house because, I want to make sure that we're not misdiagnosing things. It just allows for overall a better standard of care. Digital x-rays have been one of the greatest things, like, and again, most people say, oh, that's kind of pretty common now. Well, you'd be surprised. There's still some, some guys hanging on out there.
Man,
So.
I wish I had known this. I think I might still have some of my old x-rays from when I got my teeth implants. I should have brought those into you first thing. Then it felt really good. I could have fit in with everybody else.
There you go.
Right? Yeah.
So that's been one, I think, one of the biggest, easiest advancements technological wise that most people and we have in our office as well. And again, there's some other big ones. I'll let Rachel go ahead, and there's one that we have recently just started using in our office, and
it's an intraoral scanner, so it's a device that we can use to replace impressions. So like the goopy mold of your mouth.
Those are the worst.
Yeah, talk about gagging.
Talk about gagging. Yeah. So
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah. It's a mess,
The scanner is way less messy. It is a little cumbersome. It's a little bit big, and there's definitely a learning curve. We just got ours this week, so it's
wow.
Yeah, brand new technology.
Breaking news here on the Community Collective.
There we go.
Man.
Exactly. There you go.
The learning curve is I'm getting faster with it, so we're getting used to using it. But it does eliminate the some of the impressions. There are certain cases where you can't avoid the goop.
So does it do like 3D mapping?
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, okay.
That sounds really cool.
It allows you to scan not just the teeth, the hard and soft tissue. It puts them together, and it allows you to obviously store that on a obviously a very secure server. That way we can pull this up, and it's like us having the patient in front of us.
Wow,
that's
amazing.
Without and in the day back in the day, before this advancement in technology here, we used to do that, but it would be take an impression with the goop, then go in the back, pour it up in stone, wait for it to set for 30 minutes. If it chipped or it distorted, oh man, I got to do it all over again.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Versus with the scanner, it's more efficient. You can go over and all this technology and the software and computer systems that run with them. It'll tell you if something's wrong, if something's, and you just, 2 seconds, go back over. Okay, it captured it, and everything's good to go. You don't have to put the patient back through all of that mess and goop and all of that stuff.
But I always knew I was born 40 years too late.
Yeah. Right. Now you need to make an appointment to go to the dentist sometime soon.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course.
So there you go.
Of course.
Just to try this new
You can try it out. I'm sure you'll love it.
Absolutely.
Well,
I can use it for the bottom. I want to get some Invisaligns for my
There you
bottom.
go.
We can do that.
There you
That's
go.
perfect.
But I mean, even with that, these scanners now they're being set up to even there's guys that are now starting to connect to 3D printing, and they're 3D printing actually clear aligners like the Invisalign. They're 3D printing bite splints that people wear at night if they grind their teeth. Surgical guides for implants. So the technology is advancing, and that's something that obviously we had to start with the scanner, but being new business owners, we finally hit the 2-year mark, and we're ready to make sure that we keep advancing, with technology, so that way not only is it more efficient for the patients, but labs are all connected with these. Most of the labs that are doing your crowns and bridges and things like that, they get that impression, they scan it, and then they start using the computer systems to mock everything up. So it's more it's more accurate. I mean,
Mhm.
you're getting
And it's more efficient for them.
Right.
Well, I think for you
sent one the other day
guys,
and they
I
had it
mean,
right away.
you only have so much office space to store things. I mean, if you had to keep hard copies of everything, I mean, if you do so much digital things are nowadays, doing it digitally, you guys can just pull up a case
Yep.
right away and
Mhm.
help a patient quicker, or just for your amount of space in your office, you can be more efficient use of it.
Right. I mean, even contacting the labs, and if a lab has a question, you've got the scan, I've got the scan. Hey, let's turn it like this, and let's say, hey, well, why don't we do this
Oh, yeah.
versus this? And so, overall, it's that's a lot of the behind the scenes things that most patients don't see. But that is where the use of technology and why we want to definitely bring this in. And obviously, we got to start with the scanner. Then the next will be 3D printing and things like that.
It's the stuff that we get excited about as
Sure.
dentists. You know,
It's like our toys.
It's their new toy.
Yeah.
A really expensive new toy. Let's use it.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, and you guys know, I mean, you own your own business. So, I mean, you always have to think probably be keeping up with the changes that are going on to stay most up to date.
Mhm.
But also, I mean, you're doing
Bottom line.
Yeah, bottom line. I mean,
Yeah.
you really are. I mean, but like any business owner, it's you have to keep investing in yourselves, and in the long run, it will pay off. I mean, you guys just said, I mean, celebrate your 2-year anniversary here in the
Right.
Davison area, and I think that really sticks out to people that you're excited about things. You're working with patients, probably listening to them to figure out what ways we can best help you out and get you in and out and make sure your
Yeah,
time's
I mean,
respected.
you moved to Davison, you're like, oh my God, we got to buy more equipment. Look at all these people with their jacked up
No.
teeth over here.
It's been on our agenda since day one to get a scanner. It's just we finally are there now.
Sure.
We wanted to make sure year one, we kept the boat afloat, which,
Oh, of
which,
course.
which
Oh,
we
yeah.
did
Oh,
great,
of
you know.
course.
And
I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm right there with you. I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh God, we need to talk to our accountant more than anybody else.
right. Yeah, and the hard part about that is and it's probably an interesting thing that most people don't know. They don't teach you a single thing about running a business in dental school.
Oh, I
Not
believe
a
it.
single
didn't think
thing.
about
I
that.
mean,
Sure.
and the greatest thing that would be help would be like insurance, and I mean, understanding that you don't get any of that in dental school. So
They teach you how to fix the teeth, and that's really it.
right,
And they send you on your way.
No
If you want to
kidding.
run your
And so
business, good luck to you.
And I'm sure there are different dental schools. It's probably based on, is this more clinical? Is this more research? And that's probably, there might be some schools out there, but not the ones that we went to, that maybe give you a little bit more. But, nowadays it seems like most of the young dentists coming out, they're not actually going into business for themselves. I think they would
Joining
rather,
like a group or
right,
something
like a group
that.
practice, yeah, and that way they can punch in, punch out, and they don't really have to do all the behind the
Right.
scene things,
Right.
You know, all these colleges now that are going to listen to this are thinking, oh, we can start offering more classes.
Hey, well,
For these for our students, get a business class in there.
Yeah, get a
it'd
couple
probably be
business
beneficial, but like,
classes.
yeah,
Right.
it really would, but yeah. So
I didn't think about that. They really want you to focus on what you're going to do for your profession, but not
yeah, so
if
that's
you're gonna
why
start your own business.
Yeah, that's why the first year or two, we had
Of
we had
course.
to learn. I mean, it was a big learning curve, and just like with anything, there's some growing pains, with
Yep.
that we had to learn as wearing that second cap as a business owner. So yeah, but now we're finally to the point where it's like, all right, we got to get the scanner, we got to get going what we wanted to do,
want,
right.
and our envisions going forward,
Right.
with technology, things like that.
No, that's perfect. Now, is there any other technology, or is that basically check all the boxes for what you guys have going on right now?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of avenues that you can take with that. Like I said, there's guys they're even 3D printing dentures now. They're called digital
Wow.
dentures. So it's that completely changes the ball game. Now that you can 3-dimensionally put these together and see exactly how those teeth.
Mhm.
We don't need the multiple appointments to try things in with patients, and so obviously we're just starting with the scanner, but there's all those avenues like I said, that in the future, in the
There's
near
all sorts
future,
of
we will be using.
Other imaging software that we don't have yet, either a cone beam CT scanner, which is like it creates a 3-dimensional picture of your body,
Of an
basically.
X-ray, yeah.
Wow.
Of your, it's like an X-ray, but it's a 3-dimensional version of
Mhm.
it. So you can see, it's great for implant. Travis, I'm sure they did a lot of consultation and planning for your
A lot
implant
of
placement,
X-rays,
a lot of X-rays.
Yeah.
And now it just kind
I
of
probably have them
limits you.
somewhere.
You take this one and you can run it through a treatment planning software, and it'll tell you, yeah, you should use this size implant, this length
Mhm.
implant, and it'll tell you basically all you need to know. And it's pretty straightforward if, you know, you have that technology
That's amazing.
available
Right,
to
we're,
you.
we're the vital, you know, I mean, where's
Blood
the facial
supply,
nerve?
nerve
We're the
supply.
vital nerves. How much room do I actually have? How much density of this bone do I have to work with? So, you know, most of the specialists have started to utilize that, and that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what I tell patients is, we're human. We're 3-dimensional. We're not
Right.
we're not 2D.
Yeah.
We're not flat images like, you know,
Right.
the,
Right.
like the
Like
even
your
the digital
traditional
X-rays.
X-rays,
Right.
yeah.
So
Well, I can only imagine too, from when you all started dental school, the amount of technology advancements that have happened.
The scanner has changed so much
I was gonna
since
say,
dental
and
school.
Sure.
change it for such good reasons,
Yes.
and probably just trying to keep up with it and making sure, it's that you know what's out there. And
I mean, it's just as simple as, I mean, it's evolving as fast as, you know, the next version of the Apple, you know, phone or something, you
Right.
know, so
Right.
they're always tweaking. They're always, and now that there's more technology, obviously that's kind of the world we live in now. So it's always evolving, and it is. And that's why we've kind of been looking at all these different scanners. Which one do we want? Because there's gobs of them out
Oh,
there.
for
So
sure.
it's
there
like,
has to be.
yeah, it's like, well, this one does this. It's like, okay, hold on, you know?
Right.
So,
Right.
and you got to be able to think in the future because, you know, just like anything else, they got their standard models all the way up and just more bells and whistles and what you can do with it. I mean, even, you know, there's some offices that mill their own crowns, you know, that same day. A patient gets a crown in, you know, 4 or 6 hours, you know?
Right.
That is the capability to connect with these scanners. And so, yeah, it's just kind of, you know, it's evolved and we're there, but it's just continually evolving. So that's a big thing,
Right.
you know,
And
just like with any technology
Yeah.
in any, you know, sector.
There's always
or-
going to be something new to try.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So before I get into my next question, I'm going to take us completely off the rails.
All right.
Do you guys cringe as dental professionals when you see people like Post Malone? And his teeth, like, and don't get me wrong, I love Post Malone. I think he's great. He's a great human being, but I'm like, dude, what are you doing to your teeth?
you know what makes me cringe is when he opens something with his teeth. He like opens a package with his teeth.
Hey, we're gonna have to edit that out. No,
But I mean,
Oh,
but
that's the worst.
Hey, you
He's
don't
got those bionic teeth, though. I'm like, man, these things are made out of what? Like palladium? I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, I will say, Vinny, at least as long as you don't do it at work, I'm okay with it. What you do at home, it's all on your own, right?
Post Malone, if he wants to do that to his teeth, I don't care. If my husband breaks his tooth because he decided to open a package with his canine,
Right.
it's my problem.
Well,
I get it.
I got somebody to fix it though. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Like I said,
Like I said, it's my problem.
I got a safety net. You know. So
Johnny, can you imagine going into the dentist and here's your dentist missing like his 2 front teeth staring down at you?
Yeah.
How'd it happen? I opened up a bottle with my teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. No, that one does. Oh no, I do like. You know, plastic packages or something.
All
You know,
right.
I'm not
Okay,
not
he cleared
popping
it
beer
up,
tops
Rachel.
or
He
anything.
did.
So,
with them.
so
Yeah.
speaking of that,
That's so right.
I saw a TikTok video last night of this girl asking her boyfriend or husband, whomever, how he opened up his deodorant. And he just opened it up like I would assume a normal human being opens it. She took off the lid of like a brand new one and used her teeth to like pull the cap off of the actual
Oh,
deodorant, like the
no.
secondary cap.
No, you just roll that up and it pops
Exactly. That's what the guy did. He's like, "Are you psychotic?" And I'm like,
my
"This
God.
is so topical for tomorrow's
It
interview."
really
I'm like,
is.
"This is great."
I don't. You know, I can't speak for her. You know,
No,
so I'll leave it
it's
at
not a
that.
ketchup packet.
Yeah.
Vinny's got the
Yeah,
ketchup
yeah,
packet.
yeah.
So
taken
to
care of,
be-
yeah.
So to be clear, we use our mouths for speaking and eating, not for opening packages.
Correct. Yeah.
It should be frowned upon. Yes.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Perfect.
This is okay, I'm gonna go to the dentist next time. It's gonna be like a brand new poster. Don't be like Vinny. And he's sitting there with this ketchup packet in his mouth.
He's like trying to gnaw open an Amazon package or something.
Yeah.
Get it. All right. Well, let's get back on the rails.
All right.
All right. So I know that you guys are active members of the Davison community, with Travis being the executive director, myself being the vice president. We see the things that you guys do, but why don't we discuss that a little bit about your engagement with the community? Are there any outreach initiatives that you guys have put in place, or any programs that you guys are really passionate about that you want to share with our audience?
You have a better list than I do, actually.
Okay. Well, I just got thinking, and there was quite a bit. And yes, you know, obviously, you know, having the support of the Davison Chamber of Commerce, especially, you know, Trav and yourself, Johnny, you know, it makes it easy to become involved in the community. And Even though I didn't grow up in Davison, I grew up in Genesee County. So, for me to come back, because I left 20 years ago, I hadn't been back in Genesee County for 20 years. So to come back, it kind of brings me back home, and I've got family and friends that are right around this area. So, it's always about, giving back and being thankful, to the community, because without them, we wouldn't have our doors open, we wouldn't have any patients to work on. But, starting, I know after our first year, we kind of wanted to have a little celebration, just as a 1 year we made it, but also, to show the patients that did stick with us, for the simple fact that we took over a very good practice that had been started and established by one gentleman for about 40 years, So when he retired and we took over, there was like normal, there was a lot of apprehension. I mean, which that was my only doctor, that was my only dentist my whole life, is what you heard. So to kind of, make sure that we were still giving that warm, welcoming feeling, we did throw a little event. It was kind of more like a patient appreciation, where we had bounce houses, we had hot dogs, popcorn, chips, pop. We had a snow cone, we had face painting, we had there was even a Disney princess that used to actually work down in Orlando.
Oh, wow.
As one of the princes. She dressed up and she came and she said hi to the kids, things like that. So we've done things like that. There's always patients or kids that will come in and ask for, if we want to sponsor them for, I mean, we sent one kid down to, and he's here in Davison, to a football camp all the way down in Texas.
Oh, wow.
We help sponsor that. We like to donate things. We've got some friends that are big into the Genesee County, pageants, things like that. So we've done that. We have co-op students that we are on our second co-op student now. So, obviously right here from Davison High School.
That's great.
And then we've sponsored, T-ball teams, the Davison robotics team, things like that we like to do. In terms of programs, things that we've done, I'll let Rachel speak a little bit to some of these here.
When our daughter was at Cardinal's Nest, we went as the tooth fairy and a tooth to talk about
Yes.
Of course, I was the big
brushing your
tooth.
teeth.
I was going to assume you were just the most beautiful tooth fairy ever.
It is, right? Yeah.
No, I was fully covered, had to tell nobody
you
needed
go.
to see me.
Oh,
Good man.
that's great. I love it.
Local daycare we've gone and talked about. February is oral health, awareness month. So go in and bring some toothbrushes, some toothpaste, talk to the kids, read a book, let them brush. We have a little stuffed animal bear that brushes his own teeth. So bring that.
Cool.
Let the kids play with that a little bit. We did the MDA's Mission of Mercy. I don't know if this spring, summer, whenever it was, a couple months
remember
ago.
you
Right
guys
here at
talking
Dork
about
Federal.
Yeah. We really enjoyed it. It was a free dental treatment day for anybody. Anybody could attend, adults, kids, and they did everything. Root canals, took teeth out, fillings, cleanings.
I mean, they were making dentures there. They were making, on site. So yeah, it happens. I think this is the second year it's come around the Flint area.
COVID shut it down for a while. So now
Okay.
it's back up and running. So I don't know if it'll be an annual thing or if
I think
it
it
rotates
where
locations.
it's at, but I know they do one generally on the west side of the state near Grand Rapids,
Yeah, I think Grand Rapids is the
somewhere
next one.
Lansing, and then I think there was one in Saginaw at one point, and then
Okay.
Flint. So they do like to rotate them. And I'll tell you what, the amount of giving that you see from all of us dentists and then in the dental field, I mean, I don't know how many doctors were there. I mean, I think they just recently released how many actually treatments were provided, and the numbers of free dental care that were, given to patients that
That's
are
amazing.
in need, and some of these people, they stood in line at like 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning. We didn't start seeing patients till,
Like
10.
7.
Yeah.
Well, we were there at 7.
Right. But, by the time they go through the onboarding and all of that. So, it was a really great thing and something that, we really enjoyed. It was kind of eye-opening because, to see how many patients that in one place, because again, they had it at Dork Federal. And, I mean, every single square inch of that place was pretty much packed with some type
that's
of
life-changing for people right there.
Mhm.
I mean, you get areas, I think, of Genesee County and others that just don't have access to, you talk about insurance or know where to go. So something like that had to be life-changing for probably thousands of people that were part of that.
Yeah, it was a fun event for us, and we had some staff that came with us, and we had a good time actually. And there was we were positioned next to another group of people from their office, and they were having a good time too. It was a fun event for us, and something to feel like you're helping the community out with at the same time. mutually beneficial.
Yeah,
So.
no, that's amazing.
Yeah, and there was another opportunity. I'm sure it will come up through a local church in one of the surrounding areas here, and it was one that he just so happens to be a patient of ours, but he's the head of the church, and so he'd come to us and he'd asked us, I've got this. It's through a big organization, nationwide. And we were supposed to do that, but there were some mechanical issues where he was going to get, underserved or people in need, to kind of line them up and come through this mobile dental unit. So we were going to provide, more free dental care,
Sure.
but that had to be kind of a little bit postponed because there was having trouble with the mobile unit. So that'll be something else that I think will happen, more frequently versus, like I said, the Mission of Mercy kind of rotates through, the areas, certain year to year. So,
well, I know we always have appreciated the chamber. I mean, not only your real support and just talking about the chamber and the benefits of it, but you guys have been involved in a lot of our events, which makes it fun. I think you guys always bring a fun group.
It
I think
is
of
fun.
Quartermania.
Yeah,
you guys always bring a fun,
the
entertaining table.
enthusiasm at Quartermania.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got shanghaied into having to MC that event. The enthusiasm definitely helped feed my soul a little bit because I hated being up there for that amount of time.
Oh, you love the attention.
I surprisingly do not.
Yeah, it is. But so, I mean, you guys have been involved in that with our golf outing coming up. I know, like Festival of Flags in the past too. Like you guys have done a lot of things with the chamber. And I know that it means a lot to us because it's showing, I mean, we're very, we want to promote businesses, but we also, need the help of businesses to support what community events are going on and the chamber's investment in the community. And so you guys are part of that. And so we really appreciate that side of things.
And I think to that end for us as the more so the people on the executive team for the chamber, the way we look at it is the monetary donations, the funding from different companies, that's always great from those businesses. But at the end of the day, when you guys show up to the event, you bring that good energy, we're just having a good time and enjoying the actual event. That to me is worth so much more than any monetary donation. So we do appreciate that. Bringing your staff, bringing other friends, families, other business owners is so amazing to see. Yeah, very appreciative of that.
Well, thank you. And it's really fun actually for us to be there. We weren't sure what Quartermania was the first year we went, so we were a little hesitant.
It's a confusing event,
but it was really fun. We were like, "This is great. We need to go next year. We're going again." And we put up like a little sign-up sheet at the office, and it filled up, really fast because we had talked about it and said it was really fun. It was the weirdest combination of bingo and
a little bit of
silent
bring some
silent
orders. You got to hoop and holler. And
I'm still upset I didn't win one of those teeth whitening kits. So I'm getting one.
They'll be there next year.
All right.
You know what? Maybe they'll do something for for some dentures or something for you. So down the road someday, right? Yeah.
I don't even eat sugar, so I'm good as gold.
Oh, okay. But yeah, we like to do, frequent giveaways too through our office, and it's not just for our patients. We put it out on Facebook and anybody. I mean, just this recent one, it was just, our summer sunglass giveaway where obviously if you came into the office, we have a dental gear and swag, and we have sunglasses that patients take with them. And all you had to do was just take a picture of yourself in the summer, enjoying the summer, and put it on our Facebook. And we put everybody into a drawing, and we gave away a family 4-pack of Detroit Tigers tickets that include the tickets and, food and drink with it. So we like to do that.
We just really want to be part of the community. Right. We have every intention of being here for a long time. So we definitely want to establish a good foothold in the community because we want to be here.
Yeah. Well, I always find
great. I mean, our kids go to school. Well, one of them goes to school, and the second one will be. So it's not just about the dental care. It's about giving back and being part of the community.
Yeah. Which is the absolutely perfect approach, at least in my opinion, my uneducated opinion.
Yeah. Well, you guys always make things fun. I know, like I think when our kids came back from the dentist recently from you guys, Charlie, our son, was like, "Hey, do you have those sunglasses, Dad?" And I think I don't know if he grabbed a pair or not. But yeah, he was talking about it. And it's really fun to see people take their pictures on social media and tag you guys in different places that they're wearing them, or whether it's at your business or someplace else in front of your sign. So it is. You guys make things, I think, fun and engaging for people. And I think they want to win prizes, of course.
Yeah,
right?
It's the best word ever.
It is, right?
And we try to make it fun because, again, we understand we're human and down to earth to know that most people don't think of the dentist and think of a happy, warm, warm place. So we understand that. I mean, we even have patients sometimes say, doc, I don't like you. Oh, and then they'll backtrack. Be like, well, no, I like you. I just don't like what you do. And I say, okay, I get it.
Good.
I get it.
Yep.
Don't worry. I understand. Nobody likes to, have to sit in the chair, but
nobody sees that appointment, reminder pop up on their phone and go, hell yeah. Going to the dentist.
We're doing this today. Right?
Right. They didn't show up 30 minutes early for it. So,
Right. Yeah. Oh,
so it's all good, and just trying to spread positivity and stay active and engaged in the community. I think that's the best way to do it.
And I think one of the important things that you all mentioned is you want to be here for a long time, and I think you're talking your kids being in Davison schools, and I think that probably has to also be an interesting part too, because you have to balance your professional life and your personal life. I mean, not only are you husband and wife working together, so what is it like running a busy dental practice, working together, and then the challenges and the rewards of balancing that professional responsibilities and being married to each other as well?
Go ahead, Rachel. I'll let you take this one first.
that is a great answer.
I've learned.
The whole
That's
question.
amazing.
See, I've learned. So.
Yeah.
It's really the hardest part, I think, is keeping work at work. We both struggle with it a lot. Actually, we tend to bring home work quite a bit, and a conversation about what are we going to do with this insurance? What are we going to do about this equipment? It spills into home life sometimes, and we know we need to work a little bit harder at that. Working with each other in the office is fine. If I was his assistant, it would be terrible. But we both, we have our own patients. We have our own chair. We're not side by side all day long. So
this is also why he wears the tooth costume.
I get it.
Hey, I know my place on the totem pole. Don't worry.
Working with him, being in the same building as him all day long, and then going home and having, also being in the same building as him all night long it's fine. It's just the separating business from personal can sometimes be a little bit challenging.
Well, because I'm sorry, Rachel.
No, I was just gonna say we try to focus a lot on our girls when we're home, just to try to focus on them and give them the time that we're working full time, so we don't get all the hours with them as if we were home. So.
Sure.
Right. And like Rachel said, I think that's with a lot of people that own businesses. Sure. You got to try to separate that. Especially, with our two young girls, age 2 and 5, and I think that's the big challenge. For me, I like to take drives or listen to music and try to clear my head. But when the office, and this is a positive and a negative, we live so close to the office, it's about 2.5 miles away. So it's like, I don't really get that time to kind of decompress, right. that some people need. And people do it in different ways. And then running a business, and especially when you're in the healthcare, sector, there's always emergencies. There's always things like that. So, I think that's just a challenge with anybody that's a business owner, but
it's always something with when you own a business. It doesn't matter if it's patient care, or if it's building problems, or if it's just yard work, or if it's always something.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, those are the challenges, but obviously there's always, there's positives to it. We're able to be more flexible, with our personal schedules. I mean, with young girls 2 and 5, somebody's going to get sick, somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's got to get picked up. And with 2 of us being in the office, 2 doctors, one of us can go or alter our schedules without having to close down and, have to cancel patients or move them, or, not provide that emergency care that a patient may need. So it's got its perks too. I mean,
owning a business does have its perks. Yeah. It sometimes it's real nice to be the boss, know. So,
and I have a feeling it really helps too that you guys have a great team there. At
we do
Dental.
really have a great team.
When an emergency comes up for you all, you have a team there that you can trust and take care of your customers, and some of them have a long history with some of the patients too. So, which I think that's beneficial for you guys.
We are so grateful for the team that we have. We have been so blessed that everyone has kind of stuck it out with us, because for the staff too, they'd worked with the same, dentist for years and years. They had one boss for years and years and years, and we come in and, totally different, and they don't know us. They don't know us. We don't know them. So we really did get very fortunate, and we're so grateful for our staff. We really, truly are.
We're all done with those old school x-rays, kids.
That's right.
Bring on the new stuff.
Right. No, but I mean, that was, there's no way that, I mean, some of everybody in our office, they have they bring a different background or different skill, and bringing it all together, I think that's what has made us successful within these past 2 years to continue to, take the great practice that was established that we took over and continue to kind of move forward. Because, I mean, again, we didn't know anything in terms of the business, but some of these ladies have been in the insurance game for years. And, it helps knowing the patients and having a personal, oh, yeah, well, they give us tidbits. So yeah, I mean, that is a big part of it, because us too, just as dentists in that office, there's no way it would make it,
Right.
So, and that's just giving shout outs to our girls and our team right there at AE Dental, because they
That's
have
awesome.
literally, they save us all the time.
Well, and I think, let me just say that the exterior of your building looks amazing.
Oh, it does.
Thank you.
It looks so great, because my son goes to Dr. Monk.
Okay. Yep.
And so we were in there last Friday, the Friday before. I don't know what Friday it was. All my days gel together anymore.
Understand that.
Yes, exactly. But we were in there. I'm like, oh my God, this building looks so great. It looks so nice with the exterior paint. Like, is it like white or charcoal?
It's white and charcoal. Well, like an off-white, like light
Okay.
gray and charcoal.
Yeah,
It's
there's 3 colors.
there's 3 colors. It's like darker charcoal and lighter charcoal,
Yeah, like
and
a
then
slate gray,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Something
Yeah.
classy.
Well, we had to change it up because we didn't want to separate it and make it look like an Oreo cookie,
Oh.
So we didn't want
great,
that.
yeah.
So we
There
had
you
to
go.
kind of scheme it with 3 different.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
like with all the landscaping you guys have done, just in a 2-year period, the amount
We've
of
done
landscaping and
we've
the
had to do a
painting,
lot.
everything. It
Had to
is.
put in
The joys
windows.
of owning an established
Yeah,
business.
I mean,
Joys
it's
of
a second
business
home,
ownership.
and I mean, it was a 30-year-old building, so things are going to need to be updated, upkept, and it's kind of
It
comes
just
with
needed a facelift.
right. It
Yeah.
needed a good facelift.
Making
and,
it your own.
Yes.
You are.
It did. The color scheme was always a little entertaining. I'm driving by Gilroy's and I'd look over there and be like, man, guys, they have paint right next door.
Yeah.
Go buy some paint.
It was
And that's
built
when-
in the early 90s.
It
Right.
was.
And
You know?
it was very evident.
Right.
Yes.
They were in the cultural zeitgeist saying, oh yeah, this is the color scheme.
Yeah.
Purple and teal was super big in the 90s. My dance studio was purple and teal too.
Well,
so
it always reminded me of I'm like, that feels like a Taco Bell headquarters from like me growing up. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah, see, I always compared it. I always think of like the houses in Arizona with like the
Right.
teal, and that's
There
what
you
I
go.
always kind of.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we got to get rid of Arizona. We live in Michigan, So,
That- or Johnny, I'm sure you've seen some houses that have some teal carpet.
Oh, I've seen
So
seen homes,
yeah.
let's just talk about carpet in bathrooms. It's like, what are we doing here, people?
yeah. I don't know if we got enough time for that one.
Yeah,
No, that's a whole different
Yeah,
topic.
yeah,
right
Isn't
there.
that the truth? Well, I give you guys a lot of credit because I mean, I was a business owner for years and years and years and years, and my wife was still working full time, and it's still the business would dominate our conversation, our time that we had, whether if we were trying to get out on a date night or whatever else. So, I mean, getting through the first 2 years, which is a struggle at times, I'm sure
Oh, yeah.
it was, the stresses, having little kids. I mean, I give you guys a lot of credit there.
Yeah, we
Give you
keep
guys a
saying
lot.
we're almost there with the youngest one. We're almost to where she's easy. But
Yeah,
I don't know if she's ever going to be
I
easy.
don't know. She's the second
I
child
don't
like
know.
me, so
About an hour ago, I was at home waving my finger at all 4 of mine. Like, I have to be in the office. Don't make me come home again. I'm too
Right.
busy.
I have a 13-year-old and a 9-year-old, so I think they're independent sometimes, but there's always those challenges.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean,
but you know what though, they get independent at some point, and that feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use a family calendar, and I always make a joke, and it's a shared calendar, and I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that's I'll give all the credit to Rachel sitting over there because me not so much, but I've adjusted and I've learned, and people always ask me, hey, you got anything going on? I'll say, hold on, let me pull up my phone, look at the
Right.
calendar, and my joke is, but it's I'm being serious. If it's not on the calendar, it ain't happening.
Right.
So
Oh, yeah.
I say the
I-
exact same thing.
Yes.
If it's not in my calendar, it does not exist.
right, exactly.
None of that will happen in my world if I don't have it scheduled.
Yeah.
And this is how he and I get on the same schedule. I had to add it to his calendar
Yeah.
to
There
see
you
if he's
go.
available.
Oh
Sometimes.
yeah, yeah. So
Travis is my version of Rachel.
okay,
Rachel,
perfect.
make sure you get that.
Well, hey, it's a team. It's
good. Yeah.
it's a team. It's a
It
yin and a
is.
yang, So
Absolutely,
perfect,
absolutely.
yeah.
But if it's not in my calendar, it does not exist. So I'm
Exactly,
with you
yep.
there. So thank you to all the Rachels in our respective worlds that are
Yes.
keeping us organized.
Keeping us organized.
Yes, Yes,
Thank
Yes,
you.
we appreciate that. So as we finish up, this episode, looking ahead, what are some of the goals or aspirations you guys have for AE Dental? I mean, you guys have been evolving your practice. You brought in the new technology. You've got really an established foothold in the community that I think is so valuable. I mean, you guys just going to keep plugging along? Do you guys have aspirations of bringing on additional partners into the business? I mean, what do you guys look at when you look at the future in, 2, 5, 10 years?
Well, we definitely want to grow the practice.
Great.
We want everyone to know that we're a full service practice.
Mhm.
We see very young children, we see very old adults. So everyone and anyone in between is welcome to come and, you know, full family practice. I do Invisalign. We will take teeth out. We see kids. There's really no limitation to, what we do in house. I mean, obviously there's limitations. There's certain
Sure.
people that need specialists, but we do a lot of stuff, and we just want to make sure that, we're engaging with the community and they know that we're available if they need a dentist, and we'd be happy to have them. And future wise, there's some things up in the air. We have
I mean, like Rachel had said, growing the practice, it was a very, very well-established practice, but when you look at it, it was only one doctor in there. Well,
Sure.
you can only spin one drill with one hand, So
Right.
when there's now two of us, there's times where, where we see where we could build the practice, grow the practice, and that may be with, letting people know that we're not corporate. Okay. We are a family owned, down to earth business that treats everybody with respect. And like Rachel said, we see all ages. We have kids that are coming in that now parents are asking, and they're a year old, all the way up to what I saw a lady yesterday. She was 95. So,
Wow.
so that's a big thing that we want to do. So that way we can just stay, more productive and also provide more dental care is to get, build that practice. But I think that's like with any business, you want to grow it.
Sure.
And in order to do that, you do have to stay up with the technology that we talked about and touched on earlier. So, again, we start with the scanner, but then we have all these other avenues that 3D printing, as I mentioned, things like that. But the biggest for myself is, and it's probably going to be, in the very near, you said 2 to 5 years.
Sure.
When my girls are a little bit older and I can leave town for weeks on end, I actually want to start going to train to actually be able to surgically place the implants, which is what
Wow.
now we refer out to a lot of our specialists, and I think it's always, some patients are okay because they know it's a specialist or they've worked with them before, but some other patients, they don't like to go anywhere else,
Sure.
So to try to keep them comfortable in our office, and as well as just keep my mind, going and always, I mean, as any, I think, healthcare professional and other professions, you have to take continuing education courses,
Absolutely.
and they don't really limit us on, I mean, there is some, strict guidelines that you have to have so much of this and this and that, but
Sure.
for the most part, probably half of our continuing ed, credits that we need, in between each licensing cycle, it's up in the air with what you want to do. If you
Wow.
want to start doing implants, okay, look at that. If you want to start looking at sleep apnea, there's dentists that just focus on that, So, but for myself, I know I've always wanted to do a little bit more surgery of the surgical placement of the implants, versus having specialists do that. But again, that takes training. I always like to be well prepared. I don't like to go in feeling that, I did this for 3 days on the weekend and I'm ready to go. No,
Right.
I don't think any patient, but
I watched some YouTube videos on this, so I'm good to go now, right?
I mean, they are. We call them weekend warriors,
Right.
and to each their own,
Sure.
but that's not how we want to practice. We want to make sure that
Yeah.
we are, to the best of our ability, providing the best care, and that comes with practice, and that comes with training, and so that's what I really foresee being a big, introduction into the practice that can help, kind of help the practice continue to grow.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, I mean, as we near the end of the podcast, is there anything else you guys want to share? Do you have a message for the community?
I
Anything?
think one thing they definitely need to share, if someone wants to know where they are and how to make an appointment or find them somehow, and how do they do that, guys? How do they know where you guys are and contact you guys?
Well, it's pretty easy. We are located on Davison Road. We're right here in Davison. We're kind of next to the Elga Credit Union on Davison Road, between Irish and Gale. And if you need to reach us, our phone number is 653-7120. You can look us up on Facebook. Our Facebook handle is AE Dental Davison.
Okay.
And our website is aedentaldavison.com.
Excellent.
And all the contact information is also there.
I'll put all of that in the show notes as well.
Perfect.
Great.
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. And I'm so grateful that you guys were able to come in and have a conversation like this, because having both of you, Dr. Rachel, Dr. Vinnie, it's amazing to be able to talk to you guys face to face and have a much more extended conversation. Even when we do things on Zoom, I always get distracted. I picked up my phone a few times, so please please don't be offended by that. I do that with everyone all the time.
No. Well, no. I mean, thank you guys for having us, and thank you guys for what you guys do for the community too. And you guys do make it fun, and that's a great thing. Thank you all.
This is our first podcast, so it was fun.
All
Yeah.
right.
I didn't know what to expect.
You guys are already moving forward in the technology advancements. You're right there.
We're just going to keep that marketing going, man. Before you know it, you'll be doing TikTok dances in the shop.
We're under a little bit of pressure to do some TikTok dances at work, but he hasn't succumbed to it yet.
I think it might be.
I'll come do them with you, Vinnie.
Okay.
I'll come do them with you.
So here's what we do. Vinnie has to be like a giant tooth as part of the TikTok, or like opening ketchup packets. Yeah. The teeth. something really good like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. How many can I open in a
Yeah.
minute?
Reasons to go see your dentist today.
Right. Don't do this.
No,
don't do
it
this,
could just be Dr. Rachel recording Dr. Vinnie. Here's what you don't do. This is a dentist. Don't do that.
Your dentist says
that's probably going to have to be a censored one, but no.
Yeah, I will
There you
say I know it's been great getting to know you guys. Not only are you all my dentist and my family's dentist, but really, how much you guys care about the community, and being here through your business, but your family's here. And I know that you guys really want to be involved. You care about your patients, and you want to give them the respect and be honest with them and make sure they come away healthier. So we do appreciate that here in the community. And I know there's a lot of people in the industry that do that, but you guys are hometown based here. And I think that makes it even more important for people to realize.
Oh, final question before we close.
Oh.
I chew a tremendous amount of gum. Is that a problem?
Just make it sugar-free. You're
Okay, deal. So,
I chew a lot of gum too. That's
I chew gum nonstop all day long. So, okay, just wanted to double check there. See, Jessica, I told you, I'm going to be just fine.
like I said, sugar-free.
Yeah.
Not none of the big league chew or
That's
anything
fine. How
like
about-
that,
Right here. Maybe just some icebreakers.
Hey, there you go. That's
All right,
sugar-free.
it's a deal. Well, I think that concludes our episode of the Community Collective podcast today. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We cannot wait to have you guys back on, and maybe we'll drill into some of the information you guys talked about as far as insurance and stuff like that. We'd love to have you back on and educate our listener base even more.
All right. Sounds great. Well, again, thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon.
All right.